Sitting on top of a hill in Dorset, overlooking the spectacular Chesil Beach, is St Catherine's Chapel. It's found in the quiet village of Abbotsbury, and it's a beautiful small chapel with a very steep walk up to it. But whilst walking up to a remarkable chapel, you are doing the very same walk that medieval monks took during the Middle Ages to pay their respects at the site of pilgrimage. Join us today as we look at the chapel that's dedicated to the saint executed by the Romans. And remember to support our channel. Please make sure to subscribe. St Catherine's Chapel was built around the late 14th century, at the same time that the Abbotsbury Tithe Barn was created. Inside the village of Abbotsbury was a monastery, which was dedicated to St Peter. It was founded in the 11th century by a thane of King Canute, and the abbey was very important in the local area. It became a place of power in the village, and owned 8 manor houses and most of the houses in the village. In the 14th century, the Black Death came to Abbotsbury and devastated the area, and even killed the abbot and many of the villagers. This weakened the village of Abbotsbury significantly, and the area was even attacked from the sea a number of times. During the reign of King Henry VIII, the abbey was dissolved, and the site suffered greatly. The last abbot of Abbotsbury, Roger Rodden, was forced to hand over the keys of the monastery, and under the dissolutions of the monasteries, the site was cleared of its valuables, its brethren, and the land was sold. When it was surrendered on the 12th of March 1539, Abbot Rodden, along with the prior and 8 brethren, were given pensions of varying wealth, and the commissioner who had dissolved the monastery, Sir Giles Strangways, brought the abbey buildings, the manor houses, watermills, and the swannery for a price of £1,906 and 10 shillings. In modern money, this equates to around £1.4 million. It's clear Strangways, the commissioner sent by the king to dissolve Abbotsbury Abbey, liked the area, and he even had his own father buried in the abbey, and much of the land today remains belonging to his descendants. The abbey was eventually demolished to maximise the money from the sale and to reuse the stonework, but the Tithe Barn and St Catherine's Chapel were spared. The chapel was built by the monks of the abbey in the 14th century, and they would make regular walks up to the hill, to the chapel for pilgrimage. Others would come from further afield to visit the chapel. They would see the beautiful views of Chesil Beach and the English Channel. The site allows you to see for miles along. You can even see Portland in the distance. The chapel also allowed monks to escape and withdraw from the monastery for private prayer and meditation high above the village and overlooking the sea in a beautiful and peaceful setting. It's dedicated to St Catherine of Alexandria, which is rare in England, but she did have a significant cult within the country in the medieval period. Catherine was a saint who was considered both a princess and a prominent Christian scholar. She converted hundreds to Christianity as a teenage girl, but at the age of 18, she was executed and killed in horrific fashion. She lived during the reign of Emperor Maxentius and was a learned young girl. She was allegedly visited by the Virgin Mary and by Jesus, who persuaded her to become Christian, and at the time Christians were being persecuted. Maxentius was known for his cruelty towards them, and Catherine even visited the emperor to convince him to stop, but the emperor ordered her to be thrown into prison and tortured. It was said she was fed by a dove from heaven, and during her time in prison she was visited by Christ, that her wounds were tended to by angels. Catherine did not give over her faith, despite her torture, and allegedly the emperor even tried to marry her, but she refused. Outraged by this refusal and the fact Catherine claimed she was married to Jesus Christ, the emperor ordered Catherine to be executed on a spiked breaking wheel, or on a Catherine wheel, of which the device gets its name. However, when she touched it, it shattered. Then Maxentius ordered Catherine to be beheaded, but upon her execution, she ordered the executioner to strike herself, and when she was beheaded, it was said a milky substance came from her neck, rather than blood. Following this, she then became a prominent saint, and a medieval cult emerged after her body was allegedly rediscovered. St Catherine's Chapel in Abbotsbury was just one of a few buildings across Europe dedicated to her. It has a rectangular structure and was made from locally quarried stone, and it has stood the test of time high up against the elements. It was constructed expertly, allowing rainwater to drain off the roof through holes in the walls, and in the northwest corner there is a small tower. The chapel that stood on the hill looks a lot bigger than it really is, and it's a cute but very small little chapel. Inside are stained glass windows, and during the medieval times it would have been just as rich, with bright colours and beautiful decoration inside. A local tradition emerged at the chapel, in which young women of the village would walk up to the chapel. They would then get the help of St. Catherine. They would put one of their knees in the wishing holes of the south doorway in the chapel, and also their hands in the two other holes, and make a wish, in search of a husband. They would say a prayer looking for their future husband, but today it still remains a beautiful, mysterious and spectacular building. So St. Catherine's Chapel is a small church dedicated to the saint who was executed by the Romans. It's a beautiful place to come for a walk and to visit, as is the village of Abbotsbury, where the remains of the monastery eerily can still be explored. Once again, thanks for watching. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe, and once again, thank you so much for watching.